Yeah, I had to move my chair up.
All right, we'll get Nikki start us off.
Mus, we obviously just talked to Vance and Moses, so tell us how they have been doing through a week of official practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Vance, it's just kind of about consistency. He's, before we even got started, he had two or three phenomenal weeks. And then he got back to playing at the level that we expect him to play at from an offensive standpoint. Moses has been really consistent with his approach. He's been consistent in his effort. Both those guys have done a really good job offensively. A concern right now is just, defensively, us getting better every day because it's an area of concern right now is defending with high hands like we did last year and then our mobility laterally, not any one or two or three players in particular, just as a group. Big area of concern right now is defensive ability to stop people.
Hayden, you got a question? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nikki.
Coach Patrick is new to the staff and new to us as well. So what exactly does he bring to the staff that maybe you didn't have before, or does he have like a specialty that he's kind of known for?
I mean, I think, the first thing, Nikki, with Coach DP is just an incredible, trust, because forget the coaching aspect. I mean, he's a friend. His family. My daughter's really close with his two daughters. My wife's extremely close with Coach Patrick's wife, and so we have an incredible trust with each other. But he's a really, really good coach on the floor. He's got a commanding voice. He's got commanding energy. He's a relationship guy. So I think he brings a lot. I mean, what you really want in a coach is somebody that's all encompassing, that can recruit, can coach, can be good in-game adjustment coach that can have some suggestions and so on and so forth. So, but he's really, really helped alleviate some of the added stress for me during practice, because I trust his voice. I trust his knowledge. I trust that he's going to watch a lot of film and go down on the practice floor, really, really prepared.
Hayden, you got a question? All right, Randy, you got a question?
Randy, what do you got on? Is that a Yankee headband or what?
Yes, sir. Been one since Mickey Mantle. My question is, how difficult has it been to augment the four freshmen in with all the veterans, and especially the grad transfers? There's such a gap in the age there. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Randy, maybe for some coaches or coaching staffs, maybe that can be a challenge. When you coach in the minor leagues, and you have I remember one year we had Cliff Robinson. I think he was a 37-year-old player. And then we had, a young player at 21. That's a pretty big, age gap. And when you coach in the NBA, some guys have 10 or 12 year gaps, not 2 or 3 or 4 year gaps. So I'm not sweating it. It's of little concern to me, age gaps and having new roster faces. I don't really flinch on that. I think that, you've just got to keep in mind, freshmen, have a lot of upside. We have no idea what their ceiling is because they just kind of keep growing as players. And I think the key word is just kind of, patience for everybody, like as any freshman, whether it's an academic freshman, whether it's a student athlete, there's going to be, ups and downs throughout the course of a week or throughout the course of a season or throughout the course of a non-conference and a conference play. And, the big thing is you just want all four of the freshmen to continue to learn on a daily basis and continue to get better each day.
Nate?
Yeah, Eric, just as far as Ethan Henderson last year, he kind of came on late with all the size and everything you've added. How is he still in the mix in these early practices?
I hope everybody's still in the mix. I mean, we've only been going for a week, Nate, and we change our first unit every single day to try to figure out, like what combinations work. And, to me, chemistry matters, film matters. There's things that the spreadsheet can't tell you, meaning your statistics, combinations on the floor matter. So I think that, right now, Ethan's a guy that we know is a really good athlete that can rebound the ball, but he's completely different than Connor. I mean, when Connor's in the game, we're running our Milwaukee Bucks spread offense. And when Ethan's in the game, we're running more of our traditional opportunity break where we have a rim runner. So we have two different, hey, Jordan, can you pay attention? We're just kind of trying to figure out, playing chemistry teacher and try to figure out what works from a chemistry standpoint. I was just kidding too, Jordan.
It was Mitch's fault anyways.
Go ahead, Jordan, ask your question.
I've been paying attention the whole time. I've always been a really good student. Moses was talking about the transition from high school to college and that the system is so different for him. And I imagine for the other freshmen, when you prioritize the things that they have to really nail before getting on the floor, what does that look like? What are the things that they have to do really well to be able to play? And then some things that can maybe still be worked on during the season?
I think that, the first thing, Jordan, is so when I come home and sit down and have dinner with my wife, she asks, how was practice? And then she starts going through all 12 players. And she brings it to my attention almost every night. Like, the way that I'm coaching these guys and the system that we have in is no different than the system that we had when I was coaching Golden State or Sacramento. Same drills, same offensive concepts, same number of quick hitters. And so it's hard for me sometimes to take a step back and say, all right, a high school player is now coming into the system and he's basically playing in the system and lost 4 years of a college player or 1 year of a college, because it's a huge leap to go from high school to an NBA system. And my wife reminds me of that every night, because I might say a player struggling offensively, and she said, well, how many plays do you have in? Well, we have 49 plays in. And she's like, well, a high school player might have only had 4 plays. Like, what do you expect? And so I get self-checked every night at home. But I think that with the each player has his own area of or window or box that he's got to get better at. Some guys need strength. Some guys need to understand our concepts a little bit better. But I think all four are doing a really good job. And, getting back to Nate's question on Ethan and roles, I think it's just, that's why you have this training camp time right now, is to try to figure out what that all looks like. I don't know if I even semi-answered your question, Jordan, because I have a really good ability to kind of go with, if I miss something, you can hit me again.
You're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Bob.
Hey, Eric, it's good to hear Danielle's keeping you on your toes there. Hey, Vance was saying you were both, when he was at UConn, New Mexico, you were the first program to reach out to him when he got in the portal.
Bob, is that any surprise that we had a portal person on speed dial?
No, it's not. But do you guys, you guys are probably that way with, 30, 40, however many guys you reached out to.
However many are on the portal, they're on speed dial.
Yeah. the three guys you got, how good do you feel about them? I think you mentioned it the other day, losing Mason and Isaiah unexpectedly. How important was it to get those three guys? And it's kind of an interesting dynamic. They're newcomers, but they're seniors who've played a ton of minutes. Kind of how does that all working?
Well, I think the experience factor, I think we saw how that worked out with Jimmy. I think it was, Arkansas was really good for Jimmy this year, and Jimmy was really good for us. And there was no real transition. We plugged him in. He understood our concepts. He picked everything up really quickly. We had a vision and a role for how we wanted to use him. I think the vision and the role right now for Jalen Tate and for Justin Smith, we understand exactly how those two guys are going to fit with us. Vance, I'm still trying to figure that out. What exactly position is he going to be? And then consistency from a defensive standpoint is going to determine a lot as well, with Vance. But you bring up, last year's team, and look, here's the bottom line. 2 words, logo shot. That's where Isaiah and Mason shot from. Like they could make shots from the Hog logo at half court, basically. So who on this team is going to be able to make a logo shot on a consistent basis to stretch the defense out and turn the game into a 4-on-4 game, which is what Isaiah and Mason did when they had the ball in their hands because they had to be crowded. And then who are we going to trust to put the ball in someone's hands that can deliver? And when I say deliver, get us a high quality shot, someone that's got confidence to take red zone or last 2 minute, game type situation. Who's going to be our closer? And that doesn't mean that person has to take a shot, but who can you put the rock in someone's hands and have him do something for us when our plays die? Because inevitably the opposition is going to take your play, the play is going to get killed or it's going to die. And then we need somebody like Mason to go get us a shot. And I don't know who that's going to be right now. And we're trying to figure that out. We're scrimmaging a lot more than we ever have. I mean, the guys probably said we're doing too many drills, but in reality, we're probably scrimmaging twice as much as we did last year to try to figure out, this closer aspect, which to me is, really important.
And with the portal, you seem like you've mastered that better than anybody. And then this year, especially, you get 3 grad transfer seniors. I don't know if you've ever done that, but how important was that for the program to get those 3 guys?
Well, I mean, now that we can look back, like vital, because, Isaiah's, scholarship is as of this very, very moment, as right now, is still, open. And so when you lose a NBA caliber player and you don't have a chance to replace him, you're going to need some veteran experienced guys. And, the guy that's played in arenas like we're going to face on the road with the media exposure that there is in the SEC, is Justin. And then, Vance has obviously played at UConn and Jay Tate's from Northern Kentucky. So, it's really important that guys have played in big games, and Tate's played in an NCAA tournament. So all those things become really, really important.
And then Moses, I mean, I guess it'll be collectively picking up Isaiah's minutes, but how big a role could Moses play in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of and not one particular player. There's, you've got to be able to defend your position. And, as we've gone back and really like Isaiah Joe is an incredible team defender. He was always in the right spot defensively. So, I keep bringing up, last year we brought up our rebounding all the time. I'm bringing up right now, defensively, lateral foot speed, keeping the ball in front of us. How are we going to find a combination offensively that scores the ball and then defensively get stops? And I don't really look at, I don't look at Jalen Tate filling the role of Jimmy Witt. They're two different players. So I look at, I mean, Desi was here last year. We know what Desi does in our system, but I think everything else is like, it's all new and it'll evolve. Like last year at this time, I don't think anyone on this call, certainly nobody in our office, thought that Mason Jones was going to be co-SEC Player of the Year. But we played around with some sets. He put in incredible amount of work. His confidence rose with each game. And by the time we got to conference play, he was as hard to cover as anybody in the entire country, regardless of league. How that evolves right now, I don't really know.
We'll go to Jason.
Hey, Coach, on Desi, we haven't talked about him a lot, and I wonder what kind of leadership role he was going to take on if Isaiah was here, and maybe how he's had to increase that with Isaiah gone, and how he's kind of performed on and off the floor for you guys.
Yeah, I think really, Jason, from a leadership standpoint, as far as practice goes, I don't think it matters if who is here, Mason or Isaiah. I think that Desi is still going to come bring it with his voice. He's still going to explain to the newcomers where we're supposed to go in drills. He's going to talk about the pace that we want to play with. He's going to talk about handing the eyeballs defensively. He buddy coaches all the time in practice and in games. So I don't really look at him being any more vocal or less vocal, because I think that's kind of just who he is. Certainly from a role standpoint, I think it's with everybody. Like with so many new guys, I don't really know what it's going to look like right now. We're going to start doing some full scrimmages. I mean, we've taken stats in practice more than we ever have. We've gone live more than we ever have, because we are trying to figure out not who the best drill guy is, but who the best guy in live play is.
And then with the wiffle ball game, your second baseman over here wanted to know if that was going to happen. And then I also want to know who scouted and put the roster together.
Well, I mean, I think hopefully everybody can tell by the timing of the tweets that I didn't have enough time to consult with my staff or my board of trustees or my board of regents or whatever. I just kind of rolled with it. It was fairly late at night. And so as quick as I could text and, spell check, that lineup went out. I'm sure that I left people off for sure. I know that. I found that out really quickly after I tweeted it. So I apologize for that. I'm sure some people are offended by the position that they're playing. Certainly apologize for that. And then the batting order is another problem, but I tried to put the batting order out with somebody early in the order, meaning first or second hitters that I thought could get on base and might have the ability with their feet to advance on a pass ball. And then I tried to backload the lineup with some people that maybe could put the ball over the fence.
All right, Hutch, go.
Yeah, Coach, I just got one for you. You've talked about you're trying all these different combinations in practice. I mean, do you have a kind of a timeline of when you might want to kind of settle in on a starting five, or do you envision this being a year where your lineup changes from game to game?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing really, Hutch, is when I coached in the D League, there was a lot of times that we changed up the lineup a lot. When I was in Golden State, I think we had the same starting lineup for like the first maybe 76 games. And I remember it like it was yesterday. We were about to break a record and Troy Murphy got hurt. And he was getting taped up and he wanted to go out there, even if it was just for the jump ball, to keep our starting lineup intact, because again, I think it was about to break a record. I don't know what record it was, but I guess I'm willing to do whatever's best for the team. I think the important thing for our players to understand is every decision we make is what's in the best interest of Arkansas. So if that means changing the starting lineup, if that means having the same four starters and maybe one guy alternates, if it means same three starters, I don't really know. and I think you guys know me well. I mean, I'm not going to like hide. If I knew, hey, we got 3 starters, here they are, but I really don't know. I'm still searching.
Curtis?
Hey, Coach, it seems like a pretty good time to figure out some of those questions you might have about the team. And a normal year would be during those closed scrimmages or exhibitions. But, not being able to have that this year, do you think that adds a little extra pressure to you guys as a staff to maybe figure it out a little bit quicker? And how much value do you typically place on those kind of games?
Yeah, no, a lot. I mean, like last year, I thought our Arkansas Little Rock game was awesome because I know how good of a coach Darrell Walker is. I know how hard his teams play. We were able to take that film, go back. I was able to call Coach Walker after the game, get his opinion on our team, exchange ideas. That was really, really, really beneficial when I look back at how successful we were in non-conference. I thought the input that Coach Walker gave me was really good and really powerful. And not having closed door scrimmage or is really, it's tough. So we're going to do a COVID Cup and basically have little mini games certain days of the week and chart it. And that's going to be our closed door scrimmages, our internal COVID Cup.
Scotty?
Hey, Coach, I was wondering what other skills or traits that you see in Vance that might allow him to stay in the lineup on the floor, maybe even if his shot's not falling.
Well, he needs a shot to fall and we need a shot to fall for him to stay on the floor because that's his strength. I mean, he's not going to block a lot of shots, but we do need him to rebound the ball. We do need him to be a ball mover if his shot's not dropping. He's got versatility to be able to play different positions. I think he can, if we really want to play small ball like the Warriors do with Draymond Green, we can play him at the 5. If we want to play him at the more of his natural wing position, which is a 4-3 hybrid type wing, we can do that. He can post up smaller 3 guys at the 4 spot. I think he can stretch the floor and drag out bigger defensive players. But I think really we need him to rebound and guard his position.
I noticed Raheem Martin is a GA with you. How did that addition go down and what does he bring to your support staff?
Yeah, I wish Raheem could play like his brothers and had eligibility. That would help, number one. But, I just, Cody and Caleb let me know that, Raheem was coaching at a small college and would have interest in joining us if we ever had a spot open. And we feel fortunate to get somebody in a GA spot who has been a college assistant coach. So he gives us a little bit more maturity than normal GA and certainly experience as well.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Kevin, I apologize. We got to get down the floor. Practice is about to start.